Young and the Restless suggests Mariah Copeland is taking a dangerous turn, and she could put Dominic Chancellor in real danger. We're going to talk about Mariah's terrifying vow that she makes this week. It is a little scary and could mean danger for the kid. Mariah panics on Young and the Restless. This week, Dominic is still with Mariah as she's hustling him away from Genoa City with an imaginary Ian Ward along for the ride now and then. Mariah takes a break from driving to rest up and take a nap. She wakes up and panics because she sees that Dominic is gone. Mariah thinks that Dominic left her, went back to his parents, and doesn't want to be with her anymore. But then Mariah really wakes up and Dominic is still in the car with her and is also asleep. It turns out that it was a nightmare within a nightmare. Mariah Copeland's terrifying nightmares and mental health spiral on Y&R. This dream has her panicking, and Mariah realizes that she cannot ever lose Dominic. This is all taking Mariah back to a dark place. She is thinking about how she was taken from Sharon Newman. In Mariah's mind, that parallels when Dominic was taken from her after she gave birth, even though he is biologically Abby Newman and Devin Hamilton's child. Mariah is thinking back to when a nurse stole her and sold her to Ian Ward as a baby. He then raised Mariah in his cult, The Path. When she was a teen, creepy Ian married her. Thankfully, Mariah was rescued, the marriage wasn't consummated, and she was eventually reunited with Sharon, and they've built a good relationship. In a recent interview, actress Cameron Grimes said that this Dominic kidnapping storyline reminds her of when she first started on Y&R back when she was just 7 years old. She said one of her first storylines on The Young and the Restless was when Cassie Newman was kidnapped and held for an entire year. To refresh you, if you don't remember, back in the early 90s, Sharon's oldest child, Noah Newman, was born premature and suffered complications. He wasn't expected to survive. Sharon's best friend, Grace, went looking for Sharon's firstborn child, a little girl named Cassie that Sharon had given up at birth as a teen mom. Back then, Sharon didn't know there were twins. That was a whole retcon. Grace thought that if she could find Cassie and bring her back, it would be a comfort to Sharon when Noah ultimately didn't survive. But then Sharon's newborn baby, Noah, fully recovered. Grace decided she was going to keep Cassie for herself and never tell Sharon. In the end, Grace wound up keeping Cassie for a whole year. But at least Sharon got her daughter back, even though Cassie tragically died after a car accident as a young teen. Mariah's terrifying vow to keep Dominic at any cost on Young and the Restless. There are definitely some valid comparisons between what Grace did by kidnapping Cassie and how Mariah has now kidnapped Dominic. Cameron Grimes said in that same recent interview that she's come full circle. At the age of 7, she played the kidnapped child, Cassie. Now, Mariah is basically in Grace's shoes as the kidnapper, and Dominic is in Mariah's place. Things get a lot scarier this week when Mariah says shocking things while talking to Dominic, who, thankfully, is still asleep in the back seat of the car. It gets really creepy because Mariah starts referring to herself as Dominic's mommy. She says nothing will get in the way of them being together. In fact, she says she will die before she lets anybody take Dominic away from her. That is absolutely terrifying because Devin and Abby are getting help from GCPD Detective Burrows, and they are about to be on Mariah's trail to take back their son. Abby Newman and Devin Hamilton's desperate plan to rescue Dominic on Y&R. Mariah may panic, and there is no telling what she could do. She may pull a Thelma and Louise and drive them off a cliff or into a tree, something crazy like that. Just as she's telling Dominic that she'd rather die than be apart from him, we have Tessa Porter, Abby, Sharon, and Devin debating whether Mariah is a danger to Dominic or not. Nobody seems to think that Mariah would really hurt Dom, but they also have no idea what her mindset is at this point because she is in a severe mental health spiral. Mariah's outlook is that if she can't have Dominic, then Abby and Devin can't have him either. Mariah has completely detached from reality. She thinks that Dominic is really her son. She is increasingly certain that the only way to have a happy life is together as mother and son. If Mariah feels threatened and thinks she'll lose Dominic, things could get dangerous fast. Tessa Porter's faces a hard choice as her marriage crumbles. This week, the detective, Abby, and Devin set a trap for Mariah. Plus, Abby has made a video they are taking public that is a plea to bring Dominic back home to his parents. Devin has all his radio stations playing Tessa's music, hoping that might penetrate the fog and get Mariah to stop what she's doing. Right now, all of them are doing everything they can to save Dominic and get Mariah to back down. Abby and Devin told Tessa that even though Mariah is in pain, she knows what she is doing is wrong. Tessa is insisting that Mariah is behaving terribly. To me, it sounds like Tessa is mentally cutting ties with Mariah. She told Sharon she doesn't know her anymore. She's scared of this version of Mariah, and she has to be worried about what she might do to their daughter, Aria Porter Copeland. The future of Mariah and Tessa Porter after the breakdown. It's clear that Mariah has prioritized Dominic over Aria Porter, Tessa, and their marriage. I think Tessa is done fighting for her marriage at this point. Mariah kidnapping Dominic has pushed Tessa about as far as she can get. She's going to lean into Daniel Ramality. Eventually, when Mariah comes out of this, she'll get help. They'll clear Ian out of her brain once and for all, but I think it's going to be too late by then. Tessa will probably have divorced her, taken sole custody of Aria Porter Copeland, and be in a serious relationship with Daniel. Once again, Mariah is going to have lost her family, and she'll be devastated. It all ties back to Ian and this awful start to her life that was no fault of her own. Mariah may never forgive herself for breaking her family apart while having a breakdown. Right now, it is very worrisome that Mariah is saying she'd rather die than be apart from Dominic. Once she realizes Abby and Devin are coming for them, she may put her and Dominic's lives at risk. Mariah is completely unhinged, and since we are in February sweeps, things could get scary soon.